So, you're getting ready to work, study, or maybe even move your life abroad. That's huge. But there's this one process called document attestation that, well, it tends to bring up a whole lot of anxiety for pretty much everyone. Think about it. Someone is asking you to just hand over your most important documents. We're talking about original, totally irreplaceable things. Your degree that you poured years of work into, your birth certificate, your marriage license. Yeah, it's a genuinely scary thought. Letting those documents out of your sight feels like taking a massive leap of faith. And you know what? You are absolutely right to feel that way. The stakes here are incredibly high. And that brings us to what I call the document dilemma. The entire success of this whole thing really hinges on one simple question. How are your documents being handled? Because the risks of getting it wrong are, well, they're pretty significant. You see, there are really only two ways this can go. On one side, you've got the ideal path. Everything is secure, you know it's happening every step of the way, and you have total peace of mind. But on the other side, that's the nightmare scenario. We're talking lost documents, physical damage, endless delays, and maybe even serious legal trouble. The path your documents take isn't random. It's decided entirely by the system set up to protect them. So how do you make absolutely sure your documents stay on that ideal path? Well, it all comes down to building a kind of fortress for your files, one that's built on a few core principles of real professional document security. And let's be crystal clear about the standard here. It's 100%, not 99. When it comes to the safety of your original documents, 100% isn't just a nice goal, it's the only acceptable number. It's a non-negotiable requirement. The first pillar of this fortress is secure logging. From the very second your document arrives, it has to be logged into a secure system and given its own unique reference number. This isn't just about paperwork, it's the bedrock of accountability. It means your document can be tracked at all times. Next up, controlled handling. Your original certificates should never, ever be passed around casually. This means only a few specially designated people working in secure, restricted access areas should ever even touch your files. This one step dramatically cuts down the risk of something getting lost or damaged. This one is huge. Total transparency. You should never be left guessing, hey, where are my documents right now? A truly secure process means you get regular updates at every single stage of the journey. It completely eliminates that awful uncertainty and gives you real confidence. And finally, of course, we have data privacy. This is every bit as important as physical security. All that sensitive, personal, and educational information contained in your documents has to be kept completely confidential. It should only be shared with the official authorities involved in the process, and no one else, period. Okay, so with those principles locked in, we can now map out what your document's secured journey should actually look like, from the moment it leaves your hands all the way through the bureaucracy and safely back to you. So the journey kicks off with that secure collection and logging we talked about. From there, it moves through all the official channels: state verification, the Ministry of External Affairs, the embassy for the country you're going to, and then for places like the UAE, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs there. And the final critical step? It's secure and acknowledged return right back into your hands. I know it looks like a complicated path, but with the right system, it's totally controlled and transparent. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest traps people fall into. You have to understand that every country has its own specific set of rules. Trying to use a one-size-fits-all approach is just a recipe for rejection and, you guessed it, more delays. And this brings us to what might be the single biggest point of confusion out there: mixing up attestation with apostille. They sound kind of similar, but trust me, they are not the same thing. An apostille is a much simpler process used for countries that are part of something called the Hague Convention. Think most of Europe. Attestation, on the other hand, is that more complex, multi-step process we've been talking about, which is common for places like the GCC countries. If you get this wrong, you have to start the entire process all over again, which doubles the handling time and, of course, doubles the risk. So knowing all that, I want to give you a tool. Think of this as your personal attestation checklist. These are the things you absolutely must demand from any service you consider using. First off, make sure they are fully equipped to handle the whole range of documents, whether it's personal stuff like a birth certificate, your educational degrees, or even commercial company documents. And they need to have the same high standard of security for every single one. And here are the absolute non-negotiables. You must demand a unique reference number and end-to-end tracking. Insist that they only use official government channels, no sketchy, unverified middlemen. And finally, make sure they guarantee a secure and acknowledged handover when they return your documents. Seriously, if a service can't promise every single one of these points, you need to walk away. Which really leaves us with one final crucial question you have to ask yourself. When you finally hand over those priceless documents, is their journey going to be a gamble, or is it going to be a guarantee? With the right process and the right standards, it should always be a guarantee.